Christian, grab your kit. We gotta go.
I'm a little busy right now. What for?
Do you not hear what's going on? It's like real life Red Dawn out there right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have kit for that.
What do you have all that for? Is that just for Instagram?
Yeah.
Whatever, just take this. You got armor, you got a gun, you got some medical, eye and ear protection, even gave you a suppressor.
Bro, what is this? Is this an AC0? How come you get an actual MBAV and I get the MBAV we have at home?
Bro, you're lucky I found a plate carrier that even fits you. They don't make the MBAV in youth. Just get your kit on, we need to get out of here. Hey, gun stays on safe.
I think you're being kind of a safety Nazi, Brandon. Besides, this is my safety.
Gonna hold you, and everybody needs someone.
The Militiamen's Kit. What is it and why are we talking about it? So the idea of this kit is basically just can be either a kit box or a kit bag. And essentially what comes in this kit is all of the bare essentials that you would like to give someone who is in your militia. So this could be your neighbor, your friend, family member, whatever the case may be. Now the why behind this kit is pretty simple. We all have that friend, that family member, or that neighbor who is just not prepared, and we care about them. We want to be able to help them when we can. Now, some of these people either just don't care about this sort of stuff, or maybe they are, they do have a prepared type mindset, but they're just into other things like maybe homesteading or mobility or something like that. And this is where, as leaders in the community, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you do actually care about being prepared and you do want to help other people. This is an area where we can actually help our neighbor and help build a good community. Now, before we get into this kit, we need to talk about a couple things first. So first and foremost, what is the equipment in this kit designed to be prepared for, and who is this kit for? So when it comes down to who is this kit for, we need to actually know the people that we're gonna be giving this kit to. So this kit is something that you would prepare, store in your house, have stowed away in case of a time of crisis, essentially. So who are we giving this kit to? We need to know them, we need to know their skill set, and we need to ensure that the equipment that we're giving them, they know how to use, and that it's optimized for them. Now, what kind of scenario is this kit for? Well, we don't really know what the future is going to throw at us, but we do know that crazy things do happen, and we can't just assume that the future is going to be peaceful, right? So we can see what's going on overseas right now in Ukraine and areas like that, and there is a desperate need for equipment like that for the people that are going through those hard times. So when it comes down to what is this kit for, we need to be kind of flexible with it. So we need to have some multi-purpose equipment, basically. So getting into the kit, let's talk about some basics first. So first and foremost, budget. Now, budget is definitely going to be relative to your income, but the idea with the Militiamen Kit is not to just have one of them, but to have multiple of them so you can actually outfit a small militia. That's kind of the idea with the name. So for me, my budget is right around $1,000 for the entire kit. That includes the ammunition, all of the nylon, the rifle, everything going on around $1,000. For some people, maybe your budget is quite less, so maybe the capabilities that you can provide is going to be quite less than this, or maybe it's a lot more, and maybe you can outfit your small militia with night vision and thermal. Whatever the case may be, just make sure you're considering budget so you can have multiple of these kits ready to outfit multiple people. Now, when it comes to selecting the kit, we want to make sure that we're selecting an appropriate colorway. Now, multicam is a pretty universal camouflage these days. There's a lot of units using them, and in fact, what we're seeing in the Ukraine war is people having to wear red and blue stripes on their sleeves. But what I would recommend is getting some kit that is a pretty universal or neutral tone. So what I mean by that is colors like khaki or even multicam that would work with a variety of different camouflage patterns when it comes to clothing. Now, selecting and building out this kit, one thing I want it to be is very simple, very easy to grab and don and do so in a quick manner. So for me, what we got going on here is just a chest rig, and if I could have all of this equipment attached to each other, I would do that. So basically, if I were to hand this to someone, they have just one piece of equipment they need to put on. And when building out this equipment, we need to think about what capabilities we want to be able to provide the person that we're trying to equip. So for me, what I want this equipment to do is be very, very simple. So essentially, all of this gear requires little to no training. And if it does require training, I want to be able to train the individuals very quickly. So basically, basically nothing in here is going to require any sort of complicated skills. So getting into those specific capabilities of this specific kit, just keep in mind that this is a very principal idea. This is just an example, but these are things that I personally would like to be able to equip my friends, family, and neighbors with if they needed to use this sort of equipment. So first and foremost, let's just talk about the fanny pack here. So in this fanny pack is just a full medical kit. There is no needle Ds or anything like that. It's just gonna be bleeding and some basic airway type stuff. Again, things that don't require a lot of training. And if I do have to train the individual, it wouldn't take a very long time for me to spin them up. Additionally, in this fanny pack, I have a rifle cleaning kit. So this is just going to be the bare essentials to make sure the individual can keep their main weapon system up and running in the field. Moving on to the chest rig itself, we have eye and ear pro, just very, very cheap and basic eye and ear pro. So it's just Surefire in-ear plugs. And we have some very cheap ballistic eye pro that you can get off Amazon for about 10 bucks. Additionally, we have a water source, going to be very important. People can go multiple days without food, but they cannot go even multiple hours without water. So ensuring that there's at least a canteen on the kit, I think is going to be very important for equipping the individual to be properly prepared. And in this general purpose pouch here, I have, again, some very basic, easy to use type items. So first and foremost, we have some signaling devices. So we have a whistle, a mirror, and just a high vis panel, just all things that, again, very easy to use. Doesn't require any training, but it's very, very essential for someone who's using equipment quite like this. We also have some basic fire and water. If things were to get into that survival type world where you need additional water and you need to collect it, water tablets and matches plus a canteen cup are gonna do the trick. And then additionally, if things get really crazy, you can get really, really creative with fire. Us as human beings can figure out how to survive with just a couple of matches. So that's why we got that in there. And then we just have some note-taking gear, very important when passing information to people that they're able to retain the information. So again, considering that if you are preparing these kits to give out to people, you're probably going to be the leader in your community. So you're going to be passing possibly some very important information that needs to be retained. So that's why we got the note-taking gear going in there. Then we just have a multi-tool and then some scissors that go with the medical kit. So one thing to note with how this kit is organized, again, principal idea, with the equipment that I selected, this is kind of just where everything is located is just kind of where it fits basically. One item that I think is vitally important to an equipment setup like this is going to be a communication device like a radio that is separate from a cell phone. As some of you guys are aware, radios do require a little bit of training to be able to use them properly, but a lot of that can be mitigated with something as simple as a comms card. This can be an index card that's laminated with just some very basic information on it, like how to program the radio, how to properly charge it and store it, some basic local frequencies that someone might want to be able to listen to, and also the main frequency that your team is going to be on. Now, what's vitally important is ensuring that this radio is designed to be a listen-only device. And the reason for that is if radios are put in the hands of someone that is completely untrained, who has no radio etiquette, has no radio discipline, it can be a very dangerous tool to have. Intercepted communications is obviously one of those things we want to avoid. So if you don't have an encrypted radio or some sort of brevity code system that you're using to be able to communicate in a secure manner, we definitely want to ensure that if we're giving our radio to someone that's mostly untrained, that it's primarily on receive only. Additionally, something that is becoming very, very popular and very common these days is direction finding capabilities. So capabilities that essentially can locate using triangulation methods and some other sorts of things where RF signals are coming from. So if you have someone that's untrained, constantly keying on the radio, that can be very dangerous to your situation. And what that's probably going to end up making them is just a loot drop. Speaking of loot.
Hi, my name's Christian Guzman, and do I have a product for you? Introducing the T.REX Arms Packable Loot Bag. Light as a feather at just 8.5 ounces, yet extends to a generous 18 by 12 inches of loot hauling glory. Pack it small, haul it tall, the loot bag is ready for it all. From pocket size to full surprise, watch this bag maximize. Light as air, tough to tear, the loot bag goes anywhere. The loot bag will even stop leaks. The T.REX Packable Loot Bag, light, tough, and always ready when you are. Grab yours now before your loot grabs you. This product is designed and manufactured proudly in the United States of America. Get yours today.
Warning, the T.REX packable loot bag may cause sudden urgency to overfill gear, snacks, or questionable surplus items. Bag does not grant operator status, tactical advantage, or superhuman carrying capacity. Results may vary based on loadout, terrain, and operator cardio. Batteries not included, void when prohibited. Side effects may include excessive preparedness, mild swag, unsolicited questions from strangers about where you got that bag. T.REX Arms not responsible for loot, lost, stolen, or traded it for gas station beef jerky.
That's pretty good. Do it one more time.
Now, the vast majority of us are going to want to be very cost effective with the equipment that we select in these types of kit. Now, obviously, with these kits being stored away, they're not going to be hard use, used on the regular type equipment, but if this equipment is being used, we need to be able to rely on it, especially if we're giving it to someone else, because essentially we're handing them equipment that if they accept it, they trust us, and we want to make sure that equipment doesn't fail them. So all I have to say is military surplus equipment is a very, very good option. So this is an Eagle M4 bandolier chest rig. So very cheap. I think this thing can be found for 80 to 120 bucks depending on where you find it. All of these pouches, the canteen pouch, this is actually a medical pouch, and the fanny pack are all from Eagle Industries. And each of these pouches in the fanny pack I have found for 25 bucks. So you guys can add it up. It's a very, very cheap kit, and it's Eagle Industries. It's very good equipment that's going to be very durable. Now, getting into the weapon system, what we have here is a Blim PSA rifle. So this guy was 400 bucks. We have a primary arms prism optic on it. These things range between $200 to $400 depending on which one you get. And then we actually have a handheld flashlight on this guy retained by a Ranger band. So the general idea with a weapon system that you're going to be offering someone, especially one, again, that you're not going to be using on a regular basis, is something that's going to be cheap and dependable. So if you're going to buy a rifle like this is what's going to be in my budget for a kit like this. We want to make sure that it's good to go. And there are a number of different things that you can do to ensure a budget rifle or even a budget Blim rifle like this is safe to use and safe to store. So some of those things are going to include basically just checking the torque specs on the rifle. So basically doing the quality control process yourself. So first thing that I'm going to do is remove the handguard, check the torque spec of the barrel nut itself, check the torque spec of the gas block, put the handguard back on, and then check the torque spec of the handguard as well. So basically the entire upper receiver of the gun has been QC'd by myself. And then what I'm going to do is check the torque spec of the castle nut. So everything that is assembled, I can also go through and make sure all of the small screws, like what's going on with the pistol grip, are good to go. But at that point, the initial build of the rifle has been quality controlled by me. From there, what I want to do, because I'm going to be handing this rifle to someone and they're going to expect it to be ready to go, is I need to at least zero it. So I'm going to take it out to the range, put 100 rounds through it, make sure the gun is zeroed, and then at that point, after I'm done firing, I can look over the gun, make sure that it is good to go. Before we store the rifle, ensuring that it's good to go, what does that look like? So I'm going to check the gas rings on the bolt carrier group, make sure those are good to go. I'm going to take out the buffer spring, measure it, make sure that it's still in mil-spec standard. And then additionally, what I'm going to do from there is wipe the gun down and put a very light coat of CLP on all of the moving parts. So we don't want to keep it completely dry, and we also don't want to leave it dirty. So over time, carbon will conform to the metal of the firearm, so we want to make sure all of that excess carbon is wiped off, and we just want a light coat of CLP to ensure no rust happens to the rifle during storage. Additionally, when we store the gun, we don't want to store it in a humid environment, obviously. So that includes not storing it in a foam case, because foam will collect moisture and will make your guns rust. Now, what we want on the rifle is just a couple of things. First and foremost, we want a sling. So if there's nothing else you can do to the gun, we want to make sure that the rifle can be attached to the person you're giving it to so they don't drop it, lose it, and things like that. Having a sling is good for a number of different things, and you guys probably are aware of what those things are. From there, we want an optic if we can. If you can't afford an optic, totally fine. Iron sights are better than nothing. But for me, I want to offer some sort of a magnification to the person that I'm giving this kit to, because magnification brings tremendous capability to a fighting force. So guys with ACOGs are going to do much better than guys with iron sights in a number of different fighting situations. So if I can offer a cheap magnified option, I'm going to do that. Additionally, what we want to offer is some sort of illumination if we can. So what I got going on here is something that I would consider is best bang for your buck for sure. We have a Streamlight handheld flashlight retained by a Ranger band. So I have been in very few situations, actually zero, outside of training that required a white light on my rifle, but it is definitely something we want to be able to have if we need it. But something that I definitely needed is an ability to have a handheld light of some kind, whether that was a headlamp or something like this flashlight here. Now, I chose this flashlight because these handheld lights do have a very strong output, so they can be used on a rifle, but what I'm probably going to use it for is just admin things and things like that. But the Ranger band is there in case we need that rifle mounted solution. And while we're on the topic of the rifle, let's talk about the fighting loadout for this Militiamen Kit. So what I mean by that is how much ammunition should you be giving the individual. Now with the nylon kit that we have, we're only able to give 4 magazines plus 1 in the gun. That is just how much room we have in the kit. But one thing that is very, very important to note is that untrained fighting forces generally need way more ammunition than trained fighting forces, because when things get hairy, people like to just pull triggers in an undisciplined fashion. So if you are going to be equipping people that you know are not trained, which is probably going to be 99.9% of people that would be receiving a kit like this, just understand that if things get hairy, they probably need a full fighting loadout. So that's going to be 6 mags plus 1 in the gun. And if you can offer them even more, I would consider doing that. Now moving on to the last talking point, I want to talk about storage versus staging. So as you guys can probably see, some of the equipment that we have in these kits can't be stored in a closed box for a long period of time for a number of reasons. So first and foremost, the radios, right? So if we have charged radio batteries, we store them in a box, over time they're going to deplete, and more than likely, when it comes time to actually hand this kit out, those radio batteries may be dead or just diminished to the point where they're just no longer effective. Additionally, having water put in a bottle, stored in a box for a long period of time may not be a good idea either. So when it comes down to storage versus staging, the only thing I want to help you guys consider is consider the equipment that should not be stored in a box for a long period of time, but have it in an area that can be quickly grabbed, thrown in the kit so it can be dished out in a fast and efficient manner. So for me, with the type of equipment that I want to equip my people with, is going to be just the radios staged out with the radios on chargers, and then water bottles empty, ready to go, where they can be filled pretty quickly so that equipment can be handed out. And for storage options, we want to pick something like this box here. So this Daniel Defense box came with a rifle, but you can purchase these sorts of boxes for very, very cheap, especially if you find them used. But the idea with a box like this is I want to be able to fit all of the equipment inside this box and be able to have multiple of these. So they can be stacked and stored in an efficient manner, but also if I do need to hand this equipment out, I want to be able to do so kind of in an easy way. So I want to be able to grab something that's easy to carry, easy to put in a vehicle, and things like that. And for me, this old Daniel Defense rifle box fits the bill pretty well. So closing this thing out, it is obviously very apparent that this sort of equipment, this sort of kit, is not for you. This is something that's going to require you to invest your resources, your time into other people. And fundamentally, I think that is a very selfless thing to do. And when we're trying to establish community, and that is something that should be a priority of yours, we need to be considering how we can better prepare other people who just don't have the skill sets that we have. Maybe your neighbor is a homesteader and they have eggs that they can give you, but they're not into guns. So maybe this is something that you can provide them. Now, to be completely honest with you, it is very easy to put some money aside, build these kits, set them in the basement, have them ready to go for your friends, family, neighbor to take if they need it. But what is not so easy to do is give your time to people. It's very easy to give your money and your resources to people, but when it comes down to giving your time and energy, that is something that is often a lot more difficult. And when it comes down to this kit, yes, the resources are important for you to be able to provide somebody, but what's far more important is the time that you can give other people. Give them the time of your day. Make sure you know your neighbor. Make sure that if you have skills, you give them to other people, train other people in your community. So at the end of the day, we're building each other up, not breaking each other down, and we're building just an overall better community that's more resilient to times of crisis. Now, I appreciate your guys' time in watching this video. I hope you found it informative. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the creative touches that we put into it. But if you guys have any questions regarding any of this equipment, don't forget that you can always email us at team@trex-arms.com. We love you guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.